Hello, Sumba here. Welcome back. It is turn number 28 of my All Warhammer Nations game in Dominions 5. We're playing as the Orcs and Goblins, the Greenskins, more specifically the Bone-Nosed tribe. No funny orc voices today because I've only got 40 minutes until the hosting, so I need to get this turn done. So let's cover this. We found a magic site in Whale's Teeth Mountains. It is the Canyon of Wild Winds. I believe that's just one air gem. No other magic sites. We see a battle in Ireme between quite a few Dark Elves against Slaanesh. A fairly significant force. This is the Slaaneshi force that took the Dark Elf capital, and they've now moved off it. You can see they've got quite a lot of. They're very, very strong sacreds and things, and then their force are kind of raiders and some chaos spawn. Oh, and you can see that that was a cockatrice, I believe, doing its petrification breath, but it didn't really do much in the end. And then obviously the Dark Elves are going to get destroyed there. We took over Forbidden Forest, there's no one there, and then the Dark Elves also moved into Forbidden Forest. That was a Slaaneshi province. So a bump, but our troops are of much higher quality. They're just using some basic, collection of slaves led by a high beastmaster and because they see slaves as beasts as well. They're just kind of trying to take this stuff that doesn't have any defense because Slaanesh has got no money, so they can't really buy province defense. So it's very easy to take. But our orcs make short work of their orcs, which are just slaves, of course, not as strong as free orcs. We have a battle in Sodden Merc. This is attacking Slaanesh, so this will probably just be province defense. Oh yeah, province defense, and it looks like they've just recently seduced a convent initiate. So that was a dark elf mage that's been seduced over to the dark side by the Slaaneshis. Well, it was already the dark side. And yeah, they're not going to do anything against us. Fireflies might kill something, but because we rely on invulnerability, we don't really have protection to stop that, and that's magic damage. So we're going to hack up their raiders, and the wild boys are going to go through the middle there. Going to be a fairly straightforward one. And the chariots go and squish that treacherous convent initiate. So that was Sodden Merc, and then we have a battle at the Fortress of Forbidden Fields. Now, I don't have the best formation here, and the best plan, but we came up with something which was just to send in armoured orcs. I thought they'd have more here than this. This is literally just one Chaos Warrior and then their wall defences. But the wall defences of Chaos 4 are actually quite nasty, because at short range, these javelins from the walls are pretty unpleasant. They might kill a few of my things. So, yeah, we'll see. But basically, we just swarm in, and it's going to take us ages to kill these guys off the walls. And in the meanwhile, we're going to kind of shoot ourselves up a bit with our own archers. But we eventually break through those and take that. What did we lose? I imagine more than I was expecting to. Oh, we lost a Goblin Great Shaman. That must have been to a random javelin or arrow. Corpse constructs, blah, blah, blah. This is all fine. Goblin Wolf Chariot, okay. 2 Wild Boys. This isn't too bad. Basically, this is all much less important than losing a Great Shaman. That was a bit foolish of us. But a Great Shaman's only a 2 CB. And I think it's under 200 points, under 200 gold for that mage. It's not that expensive. Got some events. Mekrot, the Forest Golem Big Boss, was transformed. Unfortunately, I think he's the diseased one. We'll have a look at him in a moment. Nikia, some people left. Bone-Nosed Tribe, we get 44 gold and some gems. Always nice to get gems. That's quite a minor event, really, but 44 gold's also quite welcome. Tiffy Sea, 5 Earth Gems. Our gem finding and our gem income from just from events and things has been fantastic. Started to destroy the floor in Florian. The walls are moderately damaged. We need more time, and we got some promotions. Over here, Mekrot, so he was about to die. I think someone commented on the last video that he was diseased on 1 hit point, having just been promoted. Well, because he got shape changed into this Forest Goblin War Boss, he now has 40 hit points. So let's see if we can keep Mekrot alive. In order to keep him alive, we would need to make a Nature 5 elixir, I think. So it's possible, we could make it. And it might be funny to keep Mekrot alive, just as a kind of little challenge for ourselves. So he's going to keep sieging here. Not a lot is going to be happening this turn, basically. I'm just repositioning some stuff. And yeah, I'm going to forge some fires in a jar. That'll be good for my flying around and casting flaming arrows with my shamans and things. Liz Truss's Orc Market's the Orc Prophet. So Liz Truss is getting a Thunder Whip because, Truss, she's quite into that kind of stuff, allegedly. And the Eye Shield. So yeah, the where's our Grimdreg? Wild Grimdreg. Where is Grimdreg? Wild Grimdreg. But where is he? Here he is. Grimdreg's got the Axe of Hate and the Ice Mist Scimitar, and then the whip and the shield has gone to Listras Sword Markets. So I'm going to try and do a bit of thugging. We're going to need some more equipment on Listras here, but I'm going to try and do some thugging, even though that's my profit. I think it's just fun to do thugging. And I'm going to try and do more thugging to kind of be entertaining in this game, particularly because I've already got the Steel Evans, so it's going to be easier to do. So I'm moving lots of my mages over here. There's a bunch of them moving over. We've got another Corpseman Constructor here, so we've got 3 of those. They're going to be permanently doing that, funneling air gems into building a big force of Corpse Constructs. And I will try to get those into my forts because they are really good at... they're quite good for siege defense. They're good to just have ready, and you put some buffs on them, and they can be very useful kind of chaff. So what else are we doing? Pretty much just site searching, checking around. I think we've site searched most places, but we're doing a little bit of remote site searching as well. I think we've got somebody casting Dark Knowledge, do we? I thought I had someone casting Dark Knowledge. Perhaps not, but anyway, we've still got some site searching to do. We've got some Astral that we can go and site search for. Vinzil makes me think of Vin Diesel. He could go and do some site searching. He could just walk around doing Astral 2 site searching. That's not the worst idea in the world. Possibly. I'll have a think. For the moment, I'll just have him do research, and I don't think I've got anything from to where to do that. Nope. Down here, we have amassed our forces, but we're just patrolling to get this unrest down at the moment because it doesn't look like we're going to be attacked. And I think strategically, what we're up to at the moment, we've taken these provinces, we're just kind of preaching them and patrolling them. We're going to try and keep what we've got. I don't think we're going to have a fight with the Dark Elves just yet. We'll see, though. And we want to kind of start eyeing up our potential next targets. It would be nice to go and hit Slaanesh, but I don't know where this army's going. I think the likelihood is that they're going to go here and try and take this fortress, because they desperately need to have one fort at least, right? And it looks like they've given up on managing to siege Nagaron down. Maybe it was they were casting lots of summons or something that stopped them from being able to siege through it. Maybe they're going to go and try and liberate their capital. I'm not sure. But I suspect they're going to go there. So we're not going to worry about that too much. If they move up there, we'll move out the way, I think, because well, I don't know. We're not afraid of a fight with them. We could fight them. It's just that is a tough army. I would like to go and get some more of this land, while the Dark Elves can't really object because it's owned by Slaanesh currently. I had a talk with Khorne. Khorne is pretty big and powerful. The Dwarves are pretty big and powerful. I'd like to know more about what's going on in the war with Bretonnia and the ogres. If somebody has clearly lost, maybe I should attack them, or maybe I should attack the clear winner. I'm not sure. I could attack the ogres. I could attack Bretonnia. Either one of them would be a reasonable thing to do. But yeah, I don't really know what my next big goal is. I would like to get myself in position so that I could go for the 3 more thrones. Obviously, we've got one down here held by Khorne, and then our nearest 2 thrones after that are, I guess, these 2. Spreading it up into Athelorn and Khorne's territory. If we were already at war with Khorne because of the water throne, we could go that way. Otherwise, there is a throne if we go through the ogres up that direction. I'd say there's a few. We certainly want to get some more scouting views of these things, so I'm going to try and get some more scouts going. But yeah, short-term priority, get forging going, and if we can get to enchantment level 5, that gives us foul vapors, great, and then construction level 6. One of the things that will give us is we'll really supercharge our research because we've got plenty of fire gems. We've got the steel oven. We can make some dwarven hammers by using Gorkzilla. Well, I guess we can use him to make earth boots as well, so that some earth 2s like Groberlug. In fact, if we move Groberlug over there as well, we could make some earth boots, dwarven hammers, things like that. Get a bunch of dwarven hammers and really just crank out a huge number of items that could be very useful. So I think that's another goal for us. Anyway, that's all for this turn, and I will see you next turn. Hello, welcome back. It is turn number 29. Research and enchantment is completed, so we now have access to foul vapors. Not useful against Slaanesh because of their poison resistant on their bless, but definitely useful against the dwarfs and so on. I imagine that they'll be looking out for that, but that's a useful one to have. A dire portent. So we've got the Lord of Boards, the Tomb King, is claimed the Throne of Death. I think that's the first throne, other than the ones we've claimed. That's the Tomb Kings. Let's pick that up. And a dire portent. The dwarfs have got Riches from Below, is it called? The one that gives them a bit more gold and a lot more resources. That's really good for the dwarfs because they can produce a lot of their high resource cost units, and obviously the extra gold is good for them. And I believe that's in construction. We can check that in a moment. We're still constructing Corpsemen, doing a bit of site searching, and we have found just the one this turn. Morslug Grunt Crusher in the Storms has found Smouldering Starfish Colony, which is an amazing name, but only one fire gem per turn. But still, one fire gem per turn is always good to have. It's definitely one we want, and we're going to beginning to lightless lanterns, and we'll need our fire income for doing those soon. Now we've got some battles. We've got the dwarfs attacking Independence in Mufath, which I believe is a throne. So we've got the same dwarf army we've seen multiple times, but reinforced with some extra stuff. And they're against a big throne of pretty much just crap, though. These sages are not going to get very much done. Yeah, and this stuff stands no chance against the dwarves. So I don't imagine they'll lose very much. Maybe they'll lose a few miners, but very little else. We can see there's some starfires and some mine burns going off, but the dwarfs are actually really good against that. They have very good magic resistance. They've got a decent number of hit points too, so it's very hard for those spells to do much against the dwarfs. Let's just rock forward. So the troops at the front are getting slaughtered by the dwarf infantry, and as soon as these archers start getting targeted by the ranged weapons, which will be at any moment now, they're going to start getting destroyed. There we go, the archers are just getting torn to pieces. And that's the end of that throne. So what did the dwarfs lose? Anything? 5 miners, 1 rune guard. It's good to see a rune guard die. The miners are actually take a lot of casualties, but they're fairly low resources. So I imagine they'll have stopped building miners now, but they might use them for stealth attacks and things. Something we have to look out for is the dwarfs doing stealth attacks on us, because they definitely had plenty of stealthy troops when they were attacking Nuln. We've got a Bretonia attacking the ogres in Chilad. This is a very basic bunch of men-at-arms, and they're taking over a province of basically no province defense. Then we've got Slaanesh attacking the Dark Elves in the Earthshell Mountains. So this is Slaanesh's second no, this is their big army that just moved off the Dark Elves cap. It's got tons of light horsemen with lots of experience stars, so these are really good. And then it's got a decent number of mages. And it had loads of Chaos Warriors, but they've been getting promoted. You can see some of them turn into spawn. There's probably some Forsaken kicking around. Yeah, there's some Forsaken Warriors. And then some of them are Chosen. And the Chosen, of course, are absolutely terrifying because of their high bless. And those are just province defense, so they are easily destroyed. I doubt they lose anything. Nope. Then we've got a battle in Slaanesh. This is the Dark Elves storming the Slaaneshi forts. This has been a long time coming, so let's see how they do. Well, the Dark Elves have got a collection of bleak swords. They've got some afflictions, but a lot of them have got 2 experience stars, so pretty decent infantry in the bleak swords. I would say kind of medium infantry. Then we've got a ton of beasts. We've got beasts and slaves and things all mixed up here. This is not very good quality units, but quite a few of them. We've got some strong sorcerers and things, including some initiates and False Prophet in 71, the Supreme Sorceress. And their god is there as well. Not equipped with very much, but still they are there. And they have a lot of these convent initiates. So they're going to be doing a lot of mind burns, I think. And then their most powerful melee troops are over here. We've got a bunch of Seekers of Slaanesh. We've got some of these Hellstriders. And we've even got some Fiends of Slaanesh. And they have a lot of experience stars too. So that's a very tough squad. And they've got some Demonettes in there also. But their armor-piercing attacks could be very good. The Chaos Forces, they've got on their walls, they've got these hunters who are surprisingly good. But then the real star of their forces is these Chosen. That looks like about 20 Chosen. They're going to have that hell bless on them. I mean, look at this incredible bless. And the god is here as well, of course. We've got the monolith. And that bless is kind of dependent on the monolith because they've got their regen because of the monolith being there. And then they've got a couple of ice drakes, and they've got a battery of these really good sorcerers, including some sorcerer lords, so very powerful magic there, air and some astral. They've got a couple of shamans. So place your bets now. Who is going to win this battle? I know who I think is going to win, but have a think. Who's going to win? I'm saying that Slaanesh is going to win this one. The Chosen are completely terrifying. You just cast Legions of Steel on them as well. And I just don't see anything here. Like, these troops might do okay against the Chosen, but there's this big block of them. all of these troops are going to get annihilated. The Ice Drakes will put a bit of damage, and then the Chosen are just going to destroy everything that walks into them here. We've got some Imps being cast. We've got some of these. These are very cool units, the Advocates of Pleasure. And they hit relatively hard, but it's not hard enough not to get through the protection of these guys. If you look at their protection now, protection 25, regenerating, chill aura, boosted magic resistance, and resistance to all elements. We need to think about how we would beat the Chosen Warriors. And I will get to that after we've finished watching this battle. You can see lots of lightning bolts coming down. Here come the demons. So they are actually going to do some damage, and you can see that the Chosen are now taking some damage. But of course they've got regen. They pack 3 to a square, so it's very hard to actually kill them, even if you manage to chop them up pretty badly. They've also got recuperation because they're Slaanesh Chaos Warriors, so they or Chosen. So they remain perfect. So here come the Demon Nets. The Demon Nets might manage to kill somebody. And you can see they've also got an Exalted Hero, and they've got fantastic stats. 2 weapons. Oh, he's put a Champion Skull on him as well, cheeky boy. So he's trying to get him promoted and potentially get a Demon Prince is the really powerful thing you can get. But yeah, you can see that even all these demons and demonic cavalry are just wilting away in the face of all these shows. We've got Solar Rays coming down and Banished Demon coming down. Look at that. They didn't lose many of their wall defenders either. And then the Dark Elves are retreating in disarray. I imagine that most of their retreating units will survive, but if we look at the things they lost, Demonettes expensive, Bleak Swords, that's not a terrible loss, but losing 5 of their Convent Initiates, that's bad. That's 5 mages, they cost 120 gold each, and that's just to being burned out in the Communion, I think. Those Fiends of Slaanesh, they lost them. All their slaves and things, that doesn't really matter, but still, they don't have an amazing economy, they can't just have tons and tons of slaves. And if you look at what Slaanesh lost, it's an Ice Drake and 2 Chosen Warriors, and then a few things off the wall. I mean, that is 10% of their Chosen Warriors, but they'll be able to get some more now, and you can see how effective they were in that battle. And they've got their Sorcerers and Sorcerer Lords, plenty of kills. They may even get promotion for their Exalted Hero based on this. So pretty bad result for the Dark Elves. So then we've got our event in Zemik, or Zemike. We've got an Orc Big Boss turning into a War Boss. Fantastic. Utivania, Savage Orc Boss turning into a Big Boss. Excellent. Cathedral of Rock, a Distortion in the Fabric of Reality magic site found. I believe that's a pretty good site. Let's have a quick look at that. The Distortion gives us a Thaumaturgy bonus of 20. There's not very many rituals in Thaumaturgy that we're interested in, unfortunately. We get an Astral Pearl per turn, and it boosts ritual range by 2 provinces. That's an interesting one, although we don't have a lab there, so it's perhaps not very relevant. But I believe later on in the game there's some good Thaumaturgy globals. I think there's a couple of globals. Maybe Vengeful Water? I can't recall. Anyway, Boat Eater, 2 Earth Gems. It's okay. It's one of the lesser good events. A worldwide event occurred. The Throne of Death, worldwide units of age. Kind of bad for us. We do have some things that can age out, I believe. Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe greenskins don't die of old age. I can't remember if they do or not in the lore. I think they just get bigger and meaner. Killed some sneaking enemies, and we've breached the entrance to the fortification for Florian. And then a Fury of Gork was promoted. So this is a Glockagorax, and he can now get his events starting a while, but it's going to take a bit of time probably. It's usually not that quick. So what's our situation? Well, we now have Slaanesh free, and we have them to worry about. However, they can see that they are surrounded by numerous of our things, and they probably will want to play it somewhat safe here and go, okay, maybe I don't want to be attacked by all these armies charging me at once. And so maybe they'll just patrol. I would not be surprised if they patrolled and tried to get a bit of research done with their mages, but just patrolled with some mages and their Chosen Warriors. Now, what we've got nearby is actually not like loads and loads and loads of orcs and goblins, fire arrows we could get up and stuff like that, and some chariots. I don't think that would do very well against the Chosen. It wouldn't be enough stuff to just tire them out. That's one way you could kill them, because they don't have any way of getting getting rid of their fatigue. They will just fatigue out eventually, but not that quickly. They don't have super high encumbrance. If we look at the end of this battle, if we watch the battle again and we zoom to the end, let's have a look at how much fatigue they had at the end of the battle. 42. I mean, and that was a relatively a lot of stuff. That wasn't a huge amount, but you'd need at least double that amount to get them to start falling asleep. And you'd need to be able to continuously hit them hard enough and not have them surrounded by units that are asleep because of the cold aura. So it's a bit of a problem, is what I'm saying. Bit of a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble some forces in the nearby provinces. I'm not going to attack them this turn. I think they're just going to patrol, and we're just going to sit here and we're going to basically wait till next turn to work out what we might do. I don't mind fighting them and losing a battle maybe, just to kind of find out what works. So we're going to try some stuff. So over here, they may go to this province. We're going to have a big army, lots of sacreds, and we're going to be throwing down a Thunder Ward, some Winter Wards, and is Winter Ward requires 1 gem. Gives you cold resistance 5. It's not particularly good against their cold aura, is it? It's okay, I guess. Flaming arrows is going to come down. We've got a few other things. We've got some air elementals being cast there. So if they move there, we'll hit them. But they're not that likely to move there. They might move there in order to move to Forbidden Fields, but I don't think so. But just in case they kind of poke out and go for these, we are moving a force there. We are assembling a force here. Lots of troops, lots of sacreds. And we've not really got much in the way of spell backup here, so the plan here is basically just throwing down blessings and seeing how our sacreds do against them. And I think we would just, if they moved their like main stack there, we would get destroyed. But that would be okay because we would kind of then have various options of how to deal with them. We could bring more troops from over here, and we do have lots of corpse constructs, which are good against them because of their immunity to cold, and because we can just field tons of them. They're very cheap units, so we can just get tons and tons and tons of corpse constructs and tire them out and beat them down by doing that. We could trample them by having tons and tons of chariots. In fact, in our capital, we shouldn't be recruiting these warboys at the moment. I think we should be getting as many chariots as we can. The problem is we can't actually get very many chariots. We're not really ideally set up to do chariots. We could also get some chariots over here if we can get our gold costs down. Let's have a look what we can stop recruiting. Let's stop recruiting these, since this is our nearest fort. Yeah, but we haven't got the recruitment points. I would like to have more chariots, but we don't have the recruitment points. What a bane. Over here, could we get some? The thing with chariots is they cost, for us, quite a lot of recruitment points and somewhat expensive in resources, so we just can't make very many. But I think what we should do is start making a bunch of chariots. We may want to switch that over. We can just see how the chariots work. But if we had a huge army of chariots, it would flatten them and it would kill the mages because they've set them up. I suspect they'll set them up so they're kind of bodyguarding the mages. The other thing we can do is have lots of flyers go and attack the mages that are supporting them and attack at the back. So that's another trick we can use against Slaanesh. But anyway, we're basically reinforcing these provinces that they can reach. I think we've got a decent force there. Yep, so we've got forces here, here, and here. And we can have a decent fight with them if they move to there. We're moving and reinforcing down here. We've got this army, which is led by Grimdreg, and they are actually going to go and take the Dark Elf capital off Slaanesh. And I suspect the Dark Elves may have something moving there, but regardless, we are taking that. It's currently controlled by Slaanesh, and it's going to be controlled by us. I may just move off it, or I may just start taking everything down here, because the Dark Elves are also in kind of a weak position at the moment. Yeah, so we'll just have to see how that works out. I'm keeping my eye on this force, but I'm imagining that they're going to try and join up with their capital force. They're probably going to move, I guess, Dathan, because there'll be more income from that. They could move to Relothia now that they see an opportunity. You know, the Dark Elves are weakened. They could try and siege that one and get a fort there. I don't know. They're in a bad position, but they could certainly do us a lot of damage still. Meanwhile, we've taken over Forbidden Fields, and I am now forging some things. I've got a Dwarven Hammer coming in off Gorkzilla, and I am forging Earth Boots with Grublug, and then Gorkzilla will not be required to do kind of more forging and things. It will be down to, the Earth 3 from Grublug will make some more hammers. We don't have a lot of Earth gems, but using this discount, we want to get that going. What else can we do? I think Crusher, you can, because we still want to just get our research rolling. Let's have another owl quill off you. You're forging a storm spool. Storm spools are useful for us to build thugs against Slaanesh, and if we don't end up using them there, we can always just give them to more corpse constructioning over here too. Do we have any others? Let's send Squigbiter over here. In order to move these corpse constructs, what we could do with is having an item to help move them, something to help give us undead leadership. Could we cast? Have we got anything we can do there? We can do mound. We could do revive king. Yeah, let's get our let's revive a king and use him to move our corpse constructs around. So we'll have a mound king for doing that. Yeah, so that's pretty much what we're up to this turn, repositioning, considering what we're going to do about Slaanesh. In the longer term, if we can't get something that will work against them with these forces or something that will work efficiently, things that would work to fatigue them out and kill them, we've got a few different plays we can do. Foul Vapors is not going to work against them at all because of all the poison resistance they have, or it'll be very ineffective against them. We could use Thugs against them, and we could also go and research Howl would be a good one. I believe Howl is... Swarm would be good. Tons and tons of Swarm would work well, but Howl is definitely better than that. Where is Howl? Is it in Conjuration, right? I'm pretty sure Howl is Conjuration. Yeah, level 5 Conjuration, we get Howl. And Howl, because you can keep the battle going and going and going, you get more and more and more wolves, and it can also help kill off their mages. It's just a really good spell. In every battle, we should be casting Howl, basically. So yeah, that's a clear one for us to go to. So Conjuration 5. Conjuration 5 also gives us access to the big air elementals, which would also pretty much flatten them. So I think maybe rather than going for level 4 for Swarm, maybe we should just go to Conjuration 5. But in the first place, we're going to be still keep moving towards Construction level 6 to get Lightless Lanterns, because that can really supercharge our research as well. But I want to keep some stuff back for doing research. But at the same time, I do want to have a fight against Slaanesh too. If they don't move out of here, once I've moved all my forces in, I might just move a massive army in to have a fight on Slaanesh. At least I can trap them back in their fort if I do that. Although maybe this army will be there by then. That would be good in a way, because I could kill all of the stuff that isn't Chosen Warriors, potentially, and cause them some problems. Anyway, that's the plan. We will see how it works out. Do we have any space over here for recruiting some more stuff? I guess we could recruit some... What would be useful? I'll get a big in there. And then, can I afford a better mage? No, let's just keep doing that. We're doing cheaper mages at the moment just for doing research work, basically. And up here, oh, we're apparently not recruiting anyone up here. Okay, that isn't good. I don't want to miss out on recruiting mages. Are we recruiting any expensive mages? We're recruiting some wild boys over there that I maybe don't need to do. So let's not do that, and instead let's go and get a basic golden shaman up there. Okay, let's do things that way. I like having wild boys. Obviously, I've invested a lot of blast points into them being good, and they're cheap and effective units, but they are maybe not the thing we need right now. What we need right now is tons of research. Anyway, we will see what happens next turn. So see you then. Welcome back. It's turn number 30. We have seen that the dwarfs have claimed the Crystal Throne. Not good. Dwarfs are one of our main rivals, I would say, although we need to finish the war we're in before considering any other ones, really. Cast some more Corpseman construction. We've got a Revive King, so that's a Mound King to lead our Corpsemen around. A bit of site searching, didn't find anything. And then we've got Boris Bokha, that's one of the unique heroes that Kislev gets. They're now the Prophet of Kislev. And then we have some covert actions by Slaanesh. So Mekrat, the Forest Goblin Warboss, resisted a hostile seduction attempt, and we get a battle, and it's at night time. And being attacked by a Herald of Slaanesh. So Heralds of Slaanesh are pretty nasty, pretty good at fighting. If you don't have a magic weapon, they're particularly nasty because they've got invulnerability 14. Otherwise, their protection is very low, so if you manage to land a hit on them, you can kill them fairly easily. But they've obviously got that very strong bless as well. And they can bless themselves. So Mekrot goes charging in, he manages to land a blow and does some damage, and he's got a bodyguard, but there is a lot of ore here on the Herald of Slaanesh, and neither of these guys have particularly good morale, even Mekrot himself. And then he immediately takes a really bad hit and is in big trouble. So even though he's on a big spider, it looks like he's going to fail that. And the regen's going to keep the Herald of Slaanesh in the battle. And then Holy Avenger goes off. The spider fails to do much and gets chumped up. So we lose our war boss. That's unfortunate. That's on top of the castle that we were about to storm. Then we've got an Savage Orc Great Shaman, also managed to resist and is being attacked. Same thing here. We've got another one of these Heralds of Slaanesh. We've got one bodyguard, a Warboy with a star. Definitely need to put some more bodyguards on my boys. And then Thumping Zog, who's been doing a lot of work for us. He's still got his water ring on. And I'm going to guess he's going to cast probably just some buffs to himself. That's what he can cast. So in goes the Warboy, and Warboy's not going to be much good here. Although they do have pretty good morale, it's not amazing. Warboys are not particularly high morale units. And gets killed off. Then we've got Quicken Self, Smite Demon, which fails. Phantasmal Warrior, which fails. But then he charges in and lands a beautiful Magic Staff blow, which just kills the Herald of Slaanesh. And that's the benefit of having a magic weapon there. Very nice. And survives the Holy Avenger attack going off. And then Niblet, the Forest Goblin Great Shaman. So that's unfortunate because that's one of our best mages, the Forest Goblin Great Shaman, gets disappeared. So they have joined Slaanesh. They got seduced. That's very unfortunate. This is the problem with goblins. They've got low morale, so maybe I should be using orcs who've got better morale. I don't know. This is something where Slaanesh is going to continue to be annoying to me, and I think the answer is to kill them off, make sure they're dead. And I don't have to worry about all that. So we've got Battle in the Obsidian Waste, Slaanesh attacking the Dark Elves. This is their second force, so it consists of quite a lot of Chosen now. A lot of them got promoted, the warriors, some mages and things. This is the one that was sieging Nagarond. And then we've got a bunch of Marauder Light Horsemen with experienced stars, so pretty strong. And then, on the other side, the Dark Elves have got a pretty strong force, lots of Barbarian Province Defense, and then a bunch of spears and crossbows as well. I imagine that these light cavalry are going to get torn to pieces, actually. They're pretty good, but against that many troops and that much in the way of missile fire, I think they're just going to get shot up and destroyed. This is the Dark Elves basically just doing a big province defense dump here. And you can see Slaanesh is using tons of imps because that's what they've got. They've got some blood slaves, you know. So they're just making use of everything they've got. But those horsemen are doing fine at the moment, but they're not going to last. They don't have the protection to keep going. And then we've got our numerous exalted heroes, one of which is up for a promotion as well. Ooh, very nasty. Numerous exalted heroes and things, and numerous chosen warriors. So really, really tough because of those tough blesses. And they're up against the Dark Elves. They've got their god here. Their god is really badly wounded. What's happened there? Did they get hit by something? No. I think this is just because they're in hostile dominion or something like that. It's strange. Do they not heal themselves? I am confused as to how they are wounded. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments. We've got a Dreadlord, I think that is. Yeah, a Dreadlord. Very, very powerful unit, the Dreadlord, and doing very well. But they're against such elite troops that they're just going to get chopped, I think. Yeah, an Exalted Hero started chopping at them. It's really hard for the Dark Elves with what they've got here to take out these Chosen. It's really, really hard. They're doing a bit of damage, but they've got the regen to just overcome it, right? See, we've got some damage in here, even cursed, but the regen will just get it all back for them. Maybe if they just had tons and tons and tons of crossbows, they could do it. It's the Chosen just shredding through, and their regen just overcoming all those crossbow bolts. Very scary, Slaanesh, and they are really beating up the Dark Elves. The Dark Elves are kind of a spent force at this point. I know Slaanesh are in economically dire straits, but the Dark Elves are also in a bad way, so I think I'm probably going to attempt to conquer both of them. That makes sense. So this is Slaanesh moving to take me off their fort that I was sieging, the fort in Florian. So they've got 3 of their mages. They've got a few bodyguards. This is definitely a weakness. If we can do attack rear and get round here, you know, those 3 bodyguards are not enough to stop, particularly chariots. We could kill their mages off there. But then their main block here is all these chosen warriors led by this exalted hero. So let's see what happens. We've got 1 Ice Drake as well. Now our forces are very weak. We haven't got any war boys. We've just got basic stuff. So I don't really care about losing this stuff. It's fine, you know. I would rather do some damage, but I don't think we're going to kill anything here, so let's just zoom forward. Our missile fire is not strong enough and we don't have that many melee. So we might kill the Ice Drake. Yep, we've killed their Ice Drake, so that's nice. And we've wasted a few blood slaves by them having to cast imps and things, but other than that, we're just going to get chopped up by these Chosen. I haven't got anything that can remotely challenge them. And then the rest of our forces run away. That's actually good that they ran away. We get to keep a bunch of them. Right, then we got a battle in Naggarond. This is us. Naggarond was under siege by Slaanesh, and we're taking over the siege. And they've got nothing, no commander there to lead them, so they just run away. That's fine. We witness a battle in Urfel. This is Bretonnia attacking the ogres. And Bretonnia is probably going to lose there, I would say. This is really an indie commander and just a bunch of man-at-arms. They're just attacking, hoping there's like one province defense. But in fact, there is a Draco Lion, which is a bit weird. And there is a bunch of pit fighters. So the pit fighters are going to annihilate these men-at-arms with no issue. But they do lose their Draco Lion. So yeah, that's them dealt with. Then we've got events. Sudden Merc. A big boss has become a war boss. Very nice. I believe we have... Oh, we have not yet moved those forces, so I need to make sure that I take all these new troops that I got from that and do something with them. I'll do that in a moment. Let's go back to our messages. Escalating, a Prospector Genius, over 1,000 gold. Fantastic. Boat Eater, plus 10 water gems. Very nice. Luck scales and magic scales really paying off there. In Baptizer, we get another Ancient Temple event. Asher on the Night of the Deeps has joined. Another useless commander. Never mind. Typhian Sea, unrest and loss of population. Is there anything we can do about that? I don't think we've got anyone to patrol in Typhian Sea. No, we don't. One of our scouts was discovered. That's fine. Just there's no diplomatic snafu from having a scout discovered. We've just started to destroy the fort in Naggarond. I don't really want to storm the fort in Naggarond or anything, but the walls are screwed up. That's something that Slaanesh was kind of failing to do because they didn't have enough troops. And then a Forest Goblin boss was promoted in Forbidden Fields. So let's first go and deal with our promotion. Was that Sodden Merc? Yeah, I don't think I'd actually divvied up those troops correctly. So let's grab those and we'll give them to our troops. I think the leader for them here is going to be Bog Drinker. Yep, so he's just got tons of orcs, and then we've got some archers who are going to join up with, well, I guess Bog Drinker, really. Bog Drinker can just have some big uns, that's very nice, and then a couple of extra guards for Bog Drinker. Okay, cool. So I've added bodyguards to a bunch of my commanders to try and deal with the covert actions by Slaanesh. I imagine that will continue to be an annoyance, but what can you do? I am sending an absolutely massive force here of tons of warboys, orcs, and things. The idea being that even if they do move all of their chosen back and move and patrol, I think that number of warboys will just overcome them and destroy them. And either way, we'll be able to immediately crack Slaanesh. So I want to get in that cap and either I'll sit on it and preach it out and knock that Dominion down before trying to take on the monolith, or I'll immediately crack it. So I'm just sending a lot there. I'm sending mages and things there as well. And my god is also going to be there. Gorkzilla is moving in. Gorkzilla and Groblug will be casting Strength of Giants, so that we've got a bit more hitting power to get through those Slaaneshi chosen. So we've got Strength of Giants going off. We haven't got that many other big spells. We've got a few like summoning some elementals. We've got fire arrows going off. We've got a few things like that. So hopefully it'll be enough. We've got a lot of stuff that's set on attack rear, so they'll sweep round and attack rear. So I hope that will be enough, and we don't have to deal with that force yet. They're nearby, but they can't get to the capital to help. So what I think will happen is that in Florian, maybe they'll move up there to try and get some gold by connecting that up to the fort that they control. This force will probably move here or here, and they just want to connect up their forces, I imagine. But as long as this force is kind of economically advantageous to me, I don't even mind losing some battles and things. I don't want Slaanesh to cost me too much, but if it becomes really difficult to take them out and I'm having real difficulty storming the castle, for instance, what I will do is I will just preach them out. So to that end, I'm building a temple here. I'm building a temple here. I'm going to build temples all along here, and I'm going to be preaching. I've got stealth H2s I can bring in. I can stealth preach, and we will just tear their Dominion down. We'll get rid of all of it, and we can always Dominion kill them if we can't deal with these guys. However, in battle, I think I can deal with the Chosen. I've got my god who can do some good work on that. And my god is equipped with stuff that will keep him pretty safe, I would imagine. He's got Storm Spool. I've put a Chithronic Lion Pelt on him as well. And he's got Vine Shield and Sword of Swiftness. I can make thugs, of course. I've got access to good I can forge lots of things. I can forge good equipment to chop stuff up very nicely. I think maybe I want some more forging here. I'm forging some earth boots. I've got a dwarven hammer operational now. Unfortunately, I can't put earth boots on my earth 2 here on Groblug because he's mounted on the boar, he doesn't have any foot slots. No feet on the boars. So I've only got up to earth 2, and I'm going to have real difficulty getting up to earth 3. I've got Gorgzilla for that, but yeah, it's not ideal. Anyway, we can forge more earth boots, and that will give us more earth 2s. Mechwart will be an earth 2 as well then, which is nice. They can cast summon earth power and the strength of giants, which is a good spell for us, very important for our wild boys to have that. And yeah, I can. I'm still casting lots of corpse constructs, and I'm moving a bunch of corpse constructs out. Hakaloth, our Mound King, has got a bunch of corpse constructs, and they will be useful over here. But I want to kind of get rid of Slaanesh, and it's looking like maybe I'm just going to attack all of Nagaron's stuff as well and just try and take all of this. So down here, I've got Nagaron sieged, but I'm not. I'm just leaving one thing behind, just leaving a goblin. Very standard stuff. And I'm just going to hit all of these provinces. I want control of them so that I continue to get income from them, and so that if Slaanesh does hook them up to a fort, if for instance they take this province, which seems likely, they can get the income from all of these provinces, right? Except they can't if I knock some of them over. So in fact what I should probably do is hit this province and this province instead of this one. I should hit Kepes and Ireme. So let me just make a change to that. There we go, and I'll leave that one. That's more likely to be hooked up to our provinces as well. And then I've got Crusher here. So I could just start attacking the Dark Elves now, but I think at the moment I've got kind of plausible deniability about the Dark Elves. I'm just going to keep attacking Slaanesh. But yeah, I want to cut this off so they're not getting an income from these provinces at all, even if they manage to hook all of this up, connect up with their provinces, which I imagine is what they're trying to do at the moment. Anyway, spending all of that gold on mages and things, and obviously building some temples. Going to keep building temples all along here to push the Dominion this way, and hopefully we'll be able to finish Slaanesh off. It could be that this goes disastrously wrong, and even with all of these troops in this massive battle, we just can't overcome those chosen. I don't imagine that's the case, but it's possible. So let's see what the next turn brings. I think that's probably enough about this one. Except for research goals. So I was going to go construction level 5 and 6 and then maybe look at alteration and conjuration. There were a few different things I wanted, but I'm actually going to switch over completely now to do conjuration level 4 and 5. And the reason is I really, really, really want to have access to big elementals when I want them. I really want to have access to Howl. I want to be casting Howl in every single battle that I have. It's a really good spell. It's kind of undercosted in Dominions. I can really easily cast it in every battle. I've got plenty of people who can get to Nature 3 and cast Howl, so I just want to constantly be casting that. There's a few other things along the way that are good. Obviously, getting access to the big air elementals is fantastic. We do have an Air 3 who can go around and do that, and he can Cloud Trapeze too. We can get, there's some air spells that we can get off. I believe we can get in to Contact Naiad and use that for some stuff, I think. We could even get big earth elementals up in some places. Not a terrible idea. We can cast corpse candles because we've got fire and death, and corpse candles are really good for distracting the enemy. You can just fire a bunch of them off at the start of battle, so those are strong. Lots of good stuff in Conjuration 5. In Conjuration 4, there's less good stuff, but we do get Voice of Apsu, which is useful for doing water searching remotely. And what else do we get in there? We get Strength of Gaia. Strength of Gaia is really good for the Savage Orc Thugs because you can cast that with your mage and it gives you regeneration 10%, bark skin, and +4 strength. So if you have given them a bit of armor, like a lion pelt, for instance, you've got a bunch of stuff that's very good there for thugging out. You can also potentially moss body yourself if you're like if you look at one of our great shamans, like Durget. He can cast Strength of Gaia, so he puts some armor on him. He's going to have really high protection. He can then also moss body himself. He can even mist form himself if you gave him an air gem. So there's a bunch of stuff you can do to thug out these Savage Orc shamans. We're recruiting Garnet Sorceresses. I think I didn't mention this before, but recruiting a bunch of Garnet Sorceresses, sending them over here, and we've now started blood hunting with Mania over here. I think... Have we got access to Sanguine Dowsing Rods? We do. I actually should forge a sanguine dowsing rod before I go off and blood hunt because that's more effective. And we've got a few blood slaves here. We can forge a couple of sanguine dowsing rods. And we've got the forging discount on them as well. So I want to get that going. But mainly I can just do a blood hunter on our own for the moment, I think. Where are some other good places to blood hunt? We really want somebody with a lab and decent population. Traveller's Rest is a potential blood hunting site for us. There's a lab there, so we just get the blood slaves in immediately. We don't have to ferry them around, and it avoids a bit of micro. Yeah, so that's what we're up to at the moment. I want to make sure I finish Slaanesh off, and then potentially also gonna crush Nagarond. I want to get all of this territory because there's not very much stopping me from getting it, right? Like they're taking horrible casualties against each other. Slaanesh still has really great forces, but their economy is wrecked, and I'm now going after their capital. So I've got plenty of opportunity to deal a death blow to Slaanesh, and then take all of this stuff over. And then I would be absolutely huge, and I imagine people would start really coming after me. But yeah, being very, very big and having a lot of resources helps when everyone comes after you. Right, that's it for this turn, and I think I'm probably going to put this one up as a video. Yes, I think I'll have this be the end of the video and put this one up just so that I've got regular videos going up and they're not getting too long. So once again, I hope you enjoy watching. Like, subscribe, all that nonsense, and catch me in the comments or on Discord. Always nice to hear from the fans. Bye for now.